710 ESPN Seattle presents
The Calabro Show warm-up, powered by the law offices of Heidi Hunt.
Welcome. Warm-up time for the Kevin Calabro Show. Kevin, clearly, not around here. We do have the go-to guy, so this will be
Kevin's golfing, by the way.
an award winner. Is he really?
Yeah, he was texting me. He's golfing out at Trilogy, and he was a little disappointed because the beverage cart girl was not working today. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough vacation.
Well, Kevin, if you're
He's
watching...
having to rough it on his vacation out there at Trilogy.
I think Kevin's enough of a veteran to know that if the veteran cart girl isn't there on what is today, Wednesday, and you're going back on Thursday, bring a flask. We'll tell you what's coming up on the show. Could the Mariners be in line for a big, big payday? I'll tell you about it next. Okay, so the last couple days, Jim, there's been reports coming out all over the place. Forbes magazine had the first one, and the guy that they cited, a fellow by the name of Bevilacqua, that's his last name, I don't know his first, Chris Bevilacqua, joined us. I sat in with Mike Salk for a few hours this morning on Brock and Salk, appraises the Mariners' value somewhere at $750 million. The reason why a lot of this is coming out is because one of the Mariners' minority owners is involved in litigation, and he's got some debt problems, and he's in a divorce settlement / cage fight in court. So it's being talked about a lot now. Well, the concept of a big money television deal has really taken center stage across all platforms of sports. The NFL, they were light years ahead of it in their deals with CBS, NFL, not NFL, Fox. Well, you could say NFL with their NFL Network, but also their deals with NBC, ESPN, so on and so forth. Now we start to see that baseball teams, again, bigger markets, Red Sox, Yankees, well ahead of the curve. Yankees have their own network. Red Sox have an ownership stake in NESN. They share that with the Bruins. The Angels just signed this massive, massive billion-dollar deal, and they're able to go out and sign Albert Pujols and C.J. Wilson. Same with the Rangers. They have a new multi-billion-dollar network, and they're able to lock up all of their players and go out and get the likes of a Yu Darvish, and by all accounts, they're still in the mix for Prince Fielder. Do teams like the Mariners up here in as Kevin calls it, Southeast Alaska have a chance? Turns out they might. And kind of the meat of the story is, Jim, that the Mariners have an opt-out clause in their current deal with Root Sports at around 2015 the year, to opt out, and they could go out and create their own regional sports network and take ownership in that. And it takes the money that they make now, which I think is somewhere along the lines of, and don't quote me on this, and I know someone will and send me a dirty email, so I don't know the exact number, okay? But somewhere around $45 million a year now, where teams are making upwards of $1 billion potentially over the course of 1 or 2 seasons with their new deals, and the Mariners might look to do that. It's an idea I love.
Well, how many teams are doing it right now?
A bunch. I just mentioned, 4 of them. Chicago Cubs have their thing. I believe they're still with WGN, but again, it comes back to ownership stake. The Houston Astros just launched their own chunk of Comcast Sportsnet, and they have the Rockets involved in that too.
Well, everybody's going to have to do that to keep up.
That's the way it's going right now.
And that's not good news to hear that the Astros have something like that going too, because they're joining the division next, not this year, but next year.
Yeah. No. And remember, we all go back to, 99, 2000, when the Mariners were moving into Safeco Field. They had half a season there in 99. And then in 2000, what does Pat Gillick do? He starts spending money willy-nilly. He brought in Aaron Seeley, John Olerud. He brought in Arthur Rhodes, Jeff Nelson. He brought in some of the premier free agents that were on the market because they were able to leverage the potential earnings income of a brand new stadium and put that into player payroll. Same thing the Marlins are doing this year. They went out and they got Jose Reyes. They were right in there for Albert Pujols. They got Heath Bell. They got Mark Burley. They got all these free agents because they know they've got a new stadium. And all this gate revenue is going to allow them to spend money on the product and field a winning baseball team. Well, there's now no longer any new stadiums in baseball anymore. Everyone has pretty much a brand new stadium. The ones that don't, the Red Sox and the Cubs all have those massive, massive TV deals. This is essentially the modern day new stadium. Get your TV deal, make your billions that way, And the Mariners could potentially be in line to be one of the next teams to do that with this out clause. So we have a chance to catch up with Jeff Baker's been writing a lot about this. I know you read and follow Jeff a lot, so we're going to catch up with him at about 3:15. What's the one question you want to ask Jeff about this?
Well, mostly I just want to see, I mean, that Forbes story, it looked like the Mariners are getting $45 million a year right now, and it looks like they could go up to $70 million a year. And how much of an impact will this have looking down the road on signing a Prince Fielder?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main thing I want to talk to Baker about is Prince Fielder. I'm looking short term here, but there is a big picture type thing here with all this TV stuff, and I don't know, it's just troubling to me when you see that what's going on in Texas, Anaheim, and now Houston in a couple of years, where the Mariners are going to be behind the 8 ball, trying to chase. I mean, if you don't stay up with them now, it's going to be even harder down the road, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. And how much can they leverage any future potential earnings to make player payroll decisions and operational decisions now? I think that's a really hard question to answer and quantify because we don't have the insides of their books. But we can certainly talk a little bit about that. And I'm right there with you with Prince. I just want to get an idea of what's the very latest with him. And then later on in the show, obviously 4 o'clock, we'll hear from John Clayton, the professor. I think this is a huge game. I can't wait for Saturday. It's going to be like a playoff game at CenturyLink.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks have a good shot at it. It'll be fun. Maybe a letdown spot for the 49ers. People talking about the short week and all of that. I don't know how much that affects an NFL team, but hopefully it'll have a bad effect on the 49ers.
And who killed the Seahawks in that Week 1 game in San Francisco?
Ted Ginn.
Yeah. And who left Monday night's game with an ankle injury and is right now questionable for Saturday?
Is it Ted Ginn?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's good.
Read the paper this morning.
Uh-huh.
What else do we have? Oh, you're
actually my Seattle Times subscription. I let it lapse, and I need to get back on board with that. They quit delivering when you don't pay. Bastards.
You can read it on. You can read it online for free,
still
but whatever.
The Seattle Times.
You can read it online for free.
Business.
Yeah. You could also go down to Starbucks and buy it for $0.25.
No, you can't. It's 75 cents.
Is it really?
Yeah. Right
Kids
there.
these days.
Yeah.
And then your old pal Tony Bennett is going to be in town tomorrow night with the Virginia Cavaliers.
Yeah, and if nothing else, you want to listen to this interview. I did the interview solo, and I butchered Coach K's name, so that's kind of fun. I like poking fun at myself.
That's a tease right there. All of that starts at 3 here at 710 ESPN Seattle.